Hotep, everyone. Uncle Jocelyn. We're having all kind of technical difficulties right now. I'm waiting on Chazz to show up. But when Chazz shows up, we're going to talk about a subject matter that's very important. In fact, I'm going to put the information across the screen now so we can see what our subject is going to be tonight. Our subject is going to be a society that has lost its morals and its minds. So tonight, we're going to be talking about the importance of getting back to the morals, those things that our ancestors taught us, our mothers, our fathers, our grandmothers, our grandfathers, our greats. And so this is important. So as we wait for Chazz to show up, we're going to continue to talk about why are we a society that has lost its morals and its minds. Now, we're not talking about everyone, but we're talking about, by and large, when you look at our society, there's a lot of things going on, and a lot of us have indulged in low morals. We don't look at each other the way we should. We don't think about each other the way we should. We don't talk to each other the way we should. We have a negative attitude towards one another. And so I'm asking everyone tonight to make up in our minds that we're going to turn this thing around. We're going to turn it back around to the degree that we as a society, we're going to begin the process of saying, I'm going to do a better job. And so having said that, I'm going to bring Chazz in right now, and we're going to continue this discussion. What's going on, Chazz?
Not much, man. I am going through hell with these phones trying to get on these broadcasts for 2 weeks in a row. And this is absurd, not from you, brother, but with these connections. And this is terrible for 2 weeks in a row. We have hell to get on this show.
I know. Every time you look around, there's something. I don't know what to say other than we live in a society that has lost its morals and its minds. And so I want to start off by talking about what morals are, and then I'll get those people that speaks to us, I'll get them in, because normally we have people that say how we doing, but we're going to define what morals are. What are morals, guys?
Morals, behavior that people apply in life, standards of right or wrong. Some morals are good and some are not.
Go ahead, Chazz. Talk about the morals of today, our society. What's the deal?
I would say morals is taught to us at a young age. As we grow up, we had elders, grandparents, uncles who have taught us right from wrong. We know, for example, going to a store, stealing is wrong. We know some of these things, but I think in society now, as we've gotten a little bit older, our morals are looked at as lame, whack, corny, just lame. So our elders have taught us these things. Now we toss them out the window, and we're going to get into a little bit later how our morals go hand in hand with how society is today. But basically, they're just a group of ideas on how to live life and how to treat people and what's good and bad. And we know that. I believe we do as adults. Sister Mashonda fires in here and says, hey, we appreciate her. And Nucci says, peace and blessings, fam. What's going on? Sister Barbara comments and says, Hotep's Kings with emoji. We appreciate her. Sister Marie says, Hotep family. We appreciate her.
Having said that, Chazz, let's go into it. Here's the question. Why have we as a society lost our morals and minds? Everyone should have something to say about this. But let's look at the first point as you read it. Let's comment on this thing because we got to really deal with this tonight.
Number one, because too many of us have allowed this mean, nasty, ugly, racist, upside down world to remove our values and morals. We see it. It's everywhere. The world, and I put not always, but you know where I'm going with this. The media and the entertainment industry has really polluted our minds. We let them sit back and dictate to tell us what's right and what's wrong. And they have flipped everything now. Most of the things that are good now are looked at as bad. Some of the things now that is bad is looked at as good. And I believe it's the media in the movies and the magazines and the YouTube shows and these Netflix DVD show. All these things, brother, are the reason why these morals and values are gone. Because I tell you this, and you know this as well. Normally, you get a person and you tell them, I believe this is right or wrong. That person to your face is going to tell you, oh, bro, that ain't hitting on anything. You need to do this way. And it's the opposite. So those are my main reasons why everything is flipped upside down now.
Now, I think I told you this earlier, Chaz, and I have to say this now, whether people like it or not. There's a problem with us by and large as a group of people. Not everyone, but there's a lot of issues going on within each of our lives. And what I really think, Chaz, is I think I told you this earlier this week about aliens. When an alien comes to the world, what an alien does is it abducts us.
Right.
It takes us into its spaceship and it takes our minds away and then it sends us back out and we don't even know who we are. So what I'm trying to say is our minds have been abducted, Chaz. The little children, the young adults, the old adults, the senior citizens, our minds have been abducted. And so we have allowed this mean, nasty, ugly, racist, upside down world to remove our values and our morals. And this is why our morals are so low, many of us. So, Chaz, what about number two?
Number two, some of us have allowed the troubles of our lives take our morals away. That's a good point that you put on the screen. Now, we've had things, all of us have had something done to us in our childhood or even as we live as adults. And we let these little things such as my mama didn't love me or my father treated me like a piece of garbage when I was a kid. We let these things tear us down, and now it's to the point now because we hold and we built up all this anger inside of us to now where we let that fuel us. So now we walk around with an attitude. Anybody that speaks to us, we're ready to cuss them out. It is a shame, and it is a doggone disgrace. And that's why I believe a lot of it is due to how we were done as adults or children, and that's what's basically took our morals away. We won't let it go.
Wow, that was really insightful because we have, and I agree with you, the troubles of this world have caused so much havoc in our lives that we're now taking it out on other people, and we don't care about good morals. It's kill or be killed, you know.
Come on, bro.
This is the mindset that we have because we have allowed the hustle and bustle of everyday life to get the best of us, and now we don't care. And now there's another point coming up later on where we got this attitude, do unto others, and then split, you know, because we don't want them to get us back. So we have this mindset that we have allowed all of those issues that we go through, our family problems, our personal problems, our health, our finance, all of that has piled up on us, and we have become some mean people, and we don't want to acknowledge it. And this is why you see a lot of things going on with morals in our society. Take this one away.
Number three, much of the music we listen to has eroded our minds. Now, I gotta push back on this, brother, but I do know what your point is. Now, here's what I'm saying: as an adult, teenager, anybody, if you cannot listen to a song and separate real life from just a song, you have some serious issues. That's and I'll take it a step further. Even like our movies that we pay to go to these cinemas and we watch, we know nobody's getting shot. We know nobody's getting killed. We know that these things aren't happening. So you have to separate. And for an adult or a teenager that can't separate that, and we have this philosophy where we could picture ourselves doing what they're doing, selling dope and stuff like that. You have serious issues to where you're letting this go to your inside, and now you're walking around treating people the way these music stars are treating them. This, brother, and I could go on and on about this, but I think not you, brother, but this is a cop-out. We use this music that we listen to because we want to basically live that out, and that's why we're treating people like crap, and it's a doggone shame and a disgrace.
It is, but you know, I have to look at this too, Chaz. When you listen to music, and I listen to music, and ever since we were little children, we hear this FUB, you ain't this, you know this, you know that, you MFer, you SOB, you this, that, the other. So that has become into our hearts, you see. And so now what we do is, Chaz, we go around thinking those things that we have let come into our hearts. And this is why some of us as old as Methuselah, and we try to act like we're young, so we use that kind of vulgarity, like the rappers use that vulgarity. The rappers always throwing these nasty words out. We do the same thing because this music, man, because in fact, somebody might say, just like so-and-so said. And then they'll use vulgarity because it's in the song, see? Because this is now a part of their hearts. This is a part of their lives. We as a society ought to be ashamed of ourselves, but yet we're not because we have lost a lot of the morals, they have eroded, and we have allowed this music. And it's not just rap music, it's music in general that we listen to that has upside down morals, and we've accepted these morals. You know, like people say, I'm living my best life. That means drink as much as you want to drink, smoke as what you want to smoke, cuss people out, tell people off. And so this is why we are having these issues, man.
Absolutely, brother. It says number 4. Many of us just want to display this tough guy or tough girl attitude. God appear to be hard. And that's another thing. It's nothing wrong with being kind. It's nothing wrong with being nice. But when you walk around thinking that you're the hardest gang member in society, walking around thinking you're the toughest woman in society, brother, that's nothing but asking for trouble, because we all know where this goes. Eventually, you're going to run into or walk into somebody that's bigger, tougher, stronger, physically more fit to you. And there's a problem. I hate that too, brother. When you look at some people in society, not that I'm better, but they just have this look on their face like they're just all of it. You know, you better bow down to me. That's a terrible mindset to be in. And once again, I don't blame anybody but that individual, because I'm pretty sure they're mimicking or they're seeing somebody on TV trying to emulate that. It's a doggone shame, brother. It really is.
A society that has lost its morals and its minds. Chazz, a lot of us, this tough guy and tough girl attitude, we want people to think we tough. A lot of us ain't gonna bust a grape, okay? We fronting. We ain't gonna bust a grape, but we want to be hard. You know, we don't want to smile. You know, we want to get to the next person. You know, so we gotta look hard. That's that old gotta appear to be hard mentality that we have adopted, and as a result of that, we have lost our morals. This is not on our notes, but just think about it. This tough guy, tough girl attitude. When a senior citizen asks you to do something for them, and you look at them with a stern face and say something negative to them, or because you want to be hard, or you ain't gonna let nobody talk to you like this, we have lost our minds in this society, many of us, but yet many of us don't want to agree that we need to work on ourselves, because it ain't about being tough. It ain't about being this tough person.
Can I take it a step further real quick?
Go ahead.
There's an older show. I don't know if it's called Gangland or something, but anyway, it's basically where these young kids who were basically 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, they brought these kids to these prisons. These prisons were awful. These were some dudes that were in there for some heinous crimes. They had murdered people and got life, stabbed people, got life, just went on the rampage of killing people and got life. I love this show because these grown men said, you know what? Come here, little John. You think you tough? Come here, Chris. You think you tough? They stood over the kid, cussed him out. And these kids who had this attitude of being hard, brother, that crushed them. That humbled them. That made them paranoid to see a man that's 6'8", full of tattoos, standing over you, cussing you out. And these men were basically saying, look, you don't want to be like me. You don't want to be in this spot, because what's going to happen is you're going to be in here eating crap, getting talked to like a dog, not being able to live your freedom. I forget the show, but I believe you know what I'm talking about. But that show was excellent, where it crushed these young men and it taught them how to be humble and not to be in that same position.
We need morals, Chazz. We need good morals now. You know, and listen, this is my problem with us adults. As old as we are, we don't teach. Now, we say that we were taught as we grew up. Our parents taught us and our grandparents taught us morals. We don't teach them, though, to the kids coming up. We don't talk about morals. We're too busy talking about social media. We're too busy scrolling through social media all day, all night. We're too busy movies. We're too busy arguing on the phone. We're too busy doing all kinds of things because we don't teach these children morals anymore, but yet we say that we were taught them, and because we have a problem within ourselves, and this is why we are a society that has lost its morals.
And I just want to say real quick, and I promise I'll be quick and get to the next point. The morals now that are being taught is through social media. Our young kids now are being raised by social media, and that's a disgrace. I'll go ahead and move on. Number 5. A few of us never had to begin with because of our upbringing.
Chazz, what that says is, Chazz, listen, we think that everybody that's older has somebody to teach them morals. Some people live, listen, some people live in Caprini Green and in Chicago, in Detroit, in Washington, D.C. Everybody don't have morals taught to them. See, we live in this fantasy world where we think that everybody has a grandparent that sits them down and tells them right from wrong. No, some parents tell these kids at a young age because of how they have no morals. They teach these kids, and a lot of them don't have them. So we always think that everybody has morals and that we were raised the same way. Everybody didn't get raised with a grandmother or grandfather or uncle or aunt. It's dog eat dog world. And so that's why I'm saying a few of us, not all of us, but a few of them, we never had them to begin with. So we can't teach what we don't know. And now we don't want to talk about it because this thing has gotten so out of control that a lot of us are like those ostriches. We're sticking our heads in the sand as adults, and we're not talking about how our society has lost its morals and its minds. Anytime a woman will get on television and show everything she has, and we look up and we clap. Anytime a young man, 15, will cuss an older person out and we applaud him, anytime a girl will jump on her grandmother or great grandmother, this is a society that has lost its morals and its mind. And instead of us talking about how we should continue to teach this, we're a part of it because a lot of us older people, we have forgotten that we're old. We keep thinking we're young. And so we try to act like we're young. Notice how we talk. Notice how we talk. We try to talk like we're young, you know. But yeah, we should be teaching morals, man. We should be teaching morals, Chazz. And this is why we're dealing with what we're dealing with.
We got a new face in the building. Sister Nikita McClure says, "Yep, she's right."
And she knows because it's a problem.
Number 6, cultural shifts. Changes in values and norms over the time. And there's a big cultural shift now. Now, I'm not going to act like I have all the answers, but I'll just compare the two cultures back in this day and now. I believe that even though Tupac and those kind of guys were kind of bad, we know that culture then, it felt like they had a little bit more hope. They felt like they dealt with a little bit more issues compared to this culture. I'm talking about my generation. The younger guys is my age, is 25 and older. There's a big culture now because back then Tupac and them made songs about their mothers, trying to get back, even though they did have their dirt. So I'm not making them out to be perfect, but you can feel, brother, the big shift from then to now. Nobody's talking about their mama now. They're talking about cussing their mama out, fighting their mama now. There's a huge shift, and if a person can't sit here and see how that shift from Tupac's era is until now, then you just living in the sand. And there's a big shift, and everybody can feel it. Everybody feels it.
And Chazz, listen to this. There's been changes in values because now our values are about materialism, trying to get a man, trying to get a woman, trying to gain material possessions, you know, trying to be someone that we're not, trying to be a movie star when we're not, trying to live like the Joneses, which we don't have it that way. So see, the values have changed. There's the unity, self-determination, all that good stuff. That's not being taught. Now it's individualism. It's I'm going to get mine and you got to get yours. And that's why a lot of us are struggling right now.
Absolutely. Sister Mashana Fire's in here. She says, don't be talking about my boy Pac.
So yeah, Chazz, it's crazy.
Number 7. Media influences like violence, promiscuity, and unethical behavior desensitize individuals. And let me slow down.
Okay.
I believe, brother, you are spot on this. When you click on social media, if it's Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, all these sites, the first thing that's going to pop up on your feed, 2 individuals in broad daylight in the city of Delaware or the city of Montana fighting. People are commenting under there. Brother, this is where our minds are. They're commenting, oh, he got his you-know-what whoop. Oh, she got her you-know-what whoop. People on there shaking their rumps 24/7. All kind of stuff. And here's what's the problem is, brother. When you've seen this for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, as an individual, that will desensitize you. That will numb you. In fact, it even changes your behavior to where when you see it, you're just like, oh, okay, whatever. I've seen so much of this. This means nothing to me. And the other thing that I just want to say real quick, the violence that you see now on social media, it's an uptick. I've seen brothers now, brother, on Facebook Live getting shootouts, Some of these brothers are losing their lives, brother, on Facebook Live. This is where this stuff is going, and in fact, it's applauded, brother. This is crazy. This is crazy.
I can't even add to that because I like to run my big mouth to always add to something, but I can't add to what you just said because you told it like it is. The only thing I say is a lot of this, I fault us. When I say us, I'm talking about people in my generation and a little bit younger because we're not interested in bringing back those morals. See, we don't want to talk about those morals. We want to stay in our houses and kind of confine ourselves to our caves, look out our window and talk about other people, but we don't want to teach that the morals that we had growing up, those that were good morals, we don't want to talk about how that has affected our minds. A lot of us in our families are gone, and yet we don't want to get help because we keep going back over the same old stuff. We're on a treadmill. Listen, we live in a society that has lost its morals and its minds, and we can sugarcoat it all we want to. We can make people think we live in a country where everything is great when we know through our hearts this country is toe up from the flow up, and it's got a lot of us adults because us adults don't want to look at adults only. We want to be on Facebook, social media, trying to act like we're young, knowing that our time is gone. We got to stop this nonsense, Chaz. We really do.
It's sad, brother. It really is. We got another commenting. Faso is in the building. She comments and says, it's outrageous, the violence that they publicize. She's right. And I just said that she's right. It is everywhere. Commercials, TV shows. Just think about it. When you're even watching a sitcom or a movie, I guarantee you 40 or 30 seconds in when there is a commercial.
But we like it, Chaz. Chaz, we like it, though. Chaz, this is what I'm saying. And I agree with you. And I'm glad this dialogue is going like it is because we both excited right now. But, Chaz, I'm telling you now, most of us adults, we like that, man. We don't want to see something that's teaching principles about the true love, that comes from within. We don't want to talk about relationships, how to treat people. We don't want to talk about those things that's going to rise and raise us up. We want to talk about the smut. We want to talk about the dirt. We want to talk about the violence. We want to talk about the promiscuity. And as the Queen said, violence is exonerated now. We like that kind of stuff, Chaz.
Yeah. Sister Nikita fires back at her. She says, it sure is toe up.
It's toe up, Chaz. You know it's toe up, Chaz.
Number 8. Not being able to process all the information thrown at us has messed some of our minds up. I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, because it's a lot coming at us. You got all kinds of things coming at us. Information thrown at us. You got to take care of yourself. That's some information. You got to start looking into that. You got to start looking at your bills. That's coming at you. You got to start looking at your family issue. That's coming at you. You got to start looking at all these things that keep coming at us. You got to start looking at all the crap social media throws at us. You got to start looking at the things that the media gives us. You got to start looking at all the things that the news gives us. You got to start looking at all the things that our children are giving us. You got to start looking at all those things the church is giving us. You got to start looking at all those things politicians are giving us. You got to start looking at all those things, spirituality and all this other stuff. So it's a lot of information, and it has screwed us up, many of us. Our minds are stone crazy, and yet we don't want to act like we are dealing with that. You know somebody in your family. I know somebody in my family like that because it's all that information, and we can't process it. We can't put things in the right compartment. And so this is why it is the way it is.
And I'll just say real quick, brother, you were spot on with that as far as we can't process it. But here's what I would say for an individual who is having a tough time processing it. Take it one thing at a time. And I don't mean literally be on one topic for 30 or 40 days, but take it at a time. Like you said, if it's your bills one day, take a little bit of chump at that. The next day, if it's a society issue such as elections, things like that, just take it one bit at a time. But brother, like you said, a lot of it is coming at us quick, fast, and at 100 miles an hour, and we're not having enough time to recover. Let me sew it up real quick. We have Sister Barbara commented. She said, teach. We appreciate her. Sister Nikita fires back at her. She says, when you look at TV now, it's so much of a toxic agenda.
She's
and
right.
She is right about that. She's right about that. That's what the elites want. The elites want, and it's so simple for everybody. I'm glad that people are starting to see is tear up the family from the inside. They don't have to come in there. just tear the family up on the inside, show them violence, give them sex, give them drugs, give them dope, and this society will ruin themselves just with those things right there. And that's what the sister is talking about, is this toxic agenda.
She sees that we have lost our morals and our minds, Chazz. We really have. And see, we act like we don't know this or we don't see this, but we do. And this is what happens when you become stagnant. You see, we become a people who see what's going on, but we look the other way. We know that there's issues with teenage suicide and all that stuff that we can't really get into, but we know that that's going on, but we look the other way. We see all the things that's going on, how the government is doing things to us, but we look the other way. We see the stuff they're putting in this food, but we look the other way. You know, we see all of this stuff, how we treat each other. We treat each other like dogs, Chazz, our family members. We see that, and we don't want to address that. And too many of us are too silly because we don't want to watch adults only in shows like this that's going to teach us we got to come back to our morals. But what we rather watch is somebody get their brains blown out, or the air on social media, or see who dating who in the media industry. You know, this is childish, but this is where we are. So we're not big because people don't want to hear this kind of stuff.
Absolutely, brother. Number 9, family dynamics. Many of us have allowed our families to erase what we have been taught by our elders. And I've always said that in our elders who have passed away, most of them, they had a solid foundation teaching us right from wrong, how to respect people that's older than you, and just to treat people the way you want to be treated. Now, since these elders have passed away, and I'm a firm believer of this, once they passed away, the morals went out the window, and our family, the younger, when I say younger, I'm talking about the ones that's like in their 30s and 40s and up. They came in with a new set of morals, and we've adopted those new set of morals. And now it's to the point where even though the morals we can tell are not good, they're bad for our health, they're bad for our minds, we're adopting these new morals, and the older ones that our elders taught us, we just don't care about them anymore. That's just my opinion. I've been saying that for the longest.
And I concur or agree with you 100%, Chazz. Family dynamics. Many of us have allowed our families to erase what we have been taught by our elders. In other words, we were taught right from wrong. But because of all the crap that our families put on us, now we've become mean as a rattlesnake. And it's all because our kids, our cousins, our nieces, our nephews, our uncles, and our aunts, they have so many issues that they put on us, and now we're just mad at the world. And so we have taken the morals that our grandparents taught us, and we've thrown those morals out the window because now all that pressure and weight is on us. And this is why the family dynamics has gotten to most of us, and we don't even recognize it. And listen, they run it in this, Chazz, again, I hate to keep bringing this up every week. I don't care whether you believe I don't care if you believe that the cow jumped over the moon for your religion. I don't care about that. What I'm trying to say is we run to these buildings every Sunday. We run to the mosque whenever we can. And you can do that. I run to these spiritual meetings every week. You know, we do these things. But those things aren't helping us because we're the same way, Chazz. And we fooled ourselves into thinking, I'm this Christian. I'm this Muslim. I'm the spiritual guru. But when you look at our behavior and our morals that we don't have the morals, but yet we have fooled ourselves into thinking that this is why we are the way we are, because a lot of us has lost our morals. And as a result of losing our morals, we have lost our minds. And that's why we have young people, not even 5 and 6, cursing like sailors, and we applaud that. We applaud that. Cursing, or doing things that they shouldn't do. And instead of checking them, we say, what, Chazz? That's cute. That's cute.
We upload it to social media for Twitter to see.
It's not cute.
Man, I really can't add any more to that. That was a good little rant. Number 10, improper education. A constant brainwashing in the educational system has created many mental monsters in our society. I'll let you take this one.
Because if you're not educated properly, and most of us have not been, we're just now getting into this conscious movement. We're just now getting into the energy. We're just now getting into the vibrations and the universe and all this stuff, okay? All those words we use to make people think we're really educated. But the reality is we all have been educated through a system that has basically gutted us. and puts things in us. And instead of us going back and erasing and taking those things out, we're now living with those things, which when those things I'm talking about is the improper education. So we've been so brainwashed. So now we think that we're better than some people. We think we don't want to be bothered. You see, we got this whole educational system that has taught us that when you get money, you got it made. And so now we don't want to be around people. We don't want to be around family. All we want to do is talk about them. And so we have been screwed up and we become mental monsters in our minds. And that's where the problem lies.
Number 11, our minds are gone because we've given them up to a corrupt system. And our minds have been, brother, our minds have been gone. I think it's been gone for quite some time here, but as you put on the screen, we have given them up to a corrupt system. The system has corrupted us. All you got to do is look at, not all cops, but some of these cops, some of these things that they're doing. And I think, brother, what's going on is that we see how corrupt society is and we lose hope. So we say, you know what, since there's no hope, I can't beat them. I might as well adapt their philosophies. I might as well live like them. I might as well do everything the system is doing because I don't see any hope. And I think they go hand in hand, brother. When you don't see any hope, hope makes a man go corrupt when he sees nothing else to look forward to. That's just my belief.
This broadcast can be seen every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock Eastern. This is the kind of broadcast that we need to engage in, because next week we're going to give you some things to do so that we won't lose our morals. But today we're talking about how we are a society that have lost our minds and morals. When you look at this, Chazz, it says our minds are gone because we've given them up to a corrupt system. When you have two older men that's running for the presidency of the United States, and I will say what's on my heart, when you see all the stuff that they're going through, this one is a felon, and one is older, and he's struggling health-wise, and yet this is corruption, see, because they have no business being in that position. When you take it from there and look at our families, we are so corrupted because, you know, I would do something to you as my relative and not think about it, you see. And I see all this corruption. You look at religion, preachers arguing with preachers, imams arguing with imams. You know, everybody's going through all of these things. The system that we live in is a corrupt system. And this is why we're struggling like this. When you look all across the board, this corruption left is corruption right. Corruption in your family, corruption in my family, corruption all over, corruption in the educational system, in the political system, in the religious system, in the spiritual system. It's corruption everywhere. And instead of us trying to go back to these morals, we've gotten caught up in that. And now, old as we are, we don't like to talk about morals because we have gotten caught up in this thing, and a lot of us can't get out of it. Anytime you have a phone and you scrolling like that, and that's all you can do is just scroll for hours upon hours upon hours upon hours, and you won't read a book? Come on, Chazz. Come on, man.
And I want to take it a step further real quick. When you talk about the corrupt system, I believe, and it's a shame that money does this, I believe, brother, money is the main reason why all this is going on. Like you talk about how things are corrupt, because here's the thing, and I'm not trying to portray as a thug or a mob member, a mafia guy or anything like that. But how you know a system is corrupt, brother, you can see on footage that somebody got killed in broad daylight. But because you and your family are notoriously known for having money, you can pay off a judge, you can pay off a cop, you can pay off certain people, and these people know that the man was murdered, and just because you got money, you can make that person go away or the case go away. If that ain't corruption, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. And you can mess with a porn star, and you can take high official documents, and you can pay judges to say that you're innocent. That's corruption, you see. And political corruption, unethical behavior among political leaders. These jokers, man, that's what these jokers, these clowns, these satires, these dudes and these ladies in politics, most of them, these are some of the most corrupt people that you can imagine. And so because they're corrupted, we see they're corrupted, so we have to follow suit, you see. If they're corrupted, we can't be good guys coming in there because they're going to take advantage of us. So now our public trust, we begin to set those examples of negativity because everybody else is doing it. Everybody else is doing it. Your politicians are doing it. Your religious leaders are doing it. Your educational people are doing it. Everybody's doing it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about the political leaders are being corrupt. They've always been for a while now. It's just I think a lot of people with society and technology, they're starting to come across and find videos and documents to see how crooked these men and women are. You're absolutely right. Number 13, consumerism and materialism. A focus on material wealth overshadows the importance of moral and ethical values. And it goes back to that, okay? And I just said that anytime you know something is wrong, but because money is involved, and let me just say this, and I hate what I'm finna say, and I got to say this, but this is how corrupt I believe the society is. If you paid a person to do something foul to their grandmother, and this grandmother can't walk, she can barely talk, and she could be 80 years old on a cane, I believe if money was involved, society is so bad, they'll do that old grandmother in and not even think twice. And this is what happens when you overly put too much energy into a materialism: cars, clothes, watches, jewelry, shoes, 401ks, things like that. When you get into this position and you overemphasize materialism, it takes away your ethical values, because at that point you'll do anything. At that point, you don't care who you step over, who you offend, who you do wrong. You will do anything to make a buck. And that's not a good spot to be in.
And you see, Chazz, this is how messed up our minds are, because we're talking about society which has lost its morals and society which has lost its minds. But here's the deal. Many of us, we think that materialism makes us. In other words, we feel like whatever we buy, that makes us. If you buy you a brand new 2025 Lincoln Continental, if you buy that, then
you old fashioned.
But you think that you're something because you got that. If you have a nice home, you think that you're better than people. But all you're doing is being a consumer. You're just buying. I'm just buying. I'm just buying. I'm just buying. And so we focus on material wealth. When if I went to your house and you didn't have the best furniture, you didn't have the best curtains, you didn't have the best car, people would look down on you just because of what you don't have. And this is psychological mutilation that is going on. But yet many of our sisters and some of our brothers, they have gotten so caught up into gym shoes, watches, different things, man, clothes, a certain line of clothes. Like, I only wear certain clothes, but you're making that person rich, you see, and yet your children are still going hungry. And so this is why we got these kinds of discussions, man.
Brother, I just had to stop right there, brother. You be good on some good rants, but you all right. And I had to laugh because we all know people who do say that. I wear number Gucci. I wear number Prada. I wear number Louis Vuitton. And if you ain't wearing that, then you lame. That's what society is now. It's a shame, brother. Number 14, Western indoctrination. Do unto others, then split. You mentioned this earlier.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, no, that was just when we do these kinds of things, the indoctrination that we've got is a Western kind of indoctrination, which is individualism. Do whatever you can to people to get on top. You step on their backs, kick them in the butt, kick them in the teeth, whatever you got to do to get on top. And then when you get through doing them in, get out so they won't get you back. See, this is the mindset that we have, even in our families now. We get over on each of our family members, and then we don't want to be around them because we know that they're going to try to get us back. So this sportsmanship mentality has really ravaged our communities.
Right. And this is how you know, like you said, this is how you know consciously in the back of our minds, we know what we're doing is wrong because like you said at the last end of this question, we split. We split because we know we're wrong. We know we did that person in and we're trying to get away before they harm us. And that's the way society is. Even the IRS. And I hate getting, I'm not going to really go on a rant about them, brother. They're the biggest ones who do you in and then they split. They hound you, and they hound you.
When they owe you,
they get what they got to get. And then when it's on the other side, when it's the black man and the black woman trying to get something, you can't catch up to them. The phone is always jammed. They never have any representatives open.
Come on, man.
It's pathetic. Number 15, lack of community cohesion. When communities are fragmented, individuals are less to do the right thing. Community this
disintegration. The communities have disintegrated. They've disintegrated. That's what it is. Community cohesion. See, we talk all this old Afrocentrism. We talk all this by black, and we should. We don't even try to find a black African American woman who's in business because they need our help. African American woman, all of us need help. But the African American woman that's trying to do a business, she's got it rough. But we won't search her out to try to support her. We won't look for her because we there's no cohesion. But when we get together as a group, we all want people to think we're Afrocentric. We're conscious. We believe in the Neteru and Asar and a set in Heru, and all this kind of stuff. We believe in the disciples of Jesus, Peter, James, John, and all these people. We try to tell people we believe in the Quran. We got Muhammad and Fatima. We got all of these people. And so what I'm trying to say is, we have no cohesion. We're not together, man. We're all apart, and that's why these morals have been fragmented. We have lost our morals. We have lost our minds.
Absolutely. Number 16. No accountability. No one is held responsible for the inappropriate actions. And here's the flip side of that. We blame everybody else. When we do wrong, we red-handed and we've been caught with our hands in the cookie jar. We always say, well, it's because of this. It's because of that. No, you were wrong. You know what you did was wrong. You know you did that person in. You know you screwed that person over. And our actions are inappropriate to the point where we know that we're wrong and we try to flip it on the other person. And I can't stand it because, brother, we're adults here. We know right from wrong. And we always, when we get caught, we try to flip it on the other person. And that's one thing that I can't tolerate.
I want to say something now, and I know people might not get this, but when I say no accountability, no one is held responsible for their inappropriate actions. That's true. You can do whatever you want to do, but I'm looking at family. See, my mother and my father and those who raised me, they held us accountable for our actions. Okay. But now parents, which we're going to have to do something on this, a lot of parents are scared of their children, Chazz. They're afraid when their kids get to a certain age, and I know they're not kids, but see, when they were children, we would tell them, what you're going to go to bed at 9 o'clock. You're going to do this, or if they did wrong, we would tell them, you're going to have to deal with the consequences for what you did. But when the child gets old and becomes 30, 40, 50, and that parent is still around, that parent is afraid to say to that child, that young adult or that young man, that young woman or that middle-aged woman, the parent now is, well, I can't say anything. She grown now. He grown now. See, that's not how it should be, man. It was never like that. You could get kicked in the teeth by your mother if she was 70 and you were 50 if you did something wrong.
Right.
Your mother would try to whoop you if she's 80 and you 60. Your mother will still try to whoop you or say, boy, you ain't going to disrespect me. But a lot of these parents nowadays, they are afraid of their children, Chazz. And that's why this thing is going on the way it is.
And I was just going to say real quick, I see that a lot with the parents age group. Like, let's say a parent is 30 or 20 or whatever. I see that with the kids that are like 9, 10, and 11 because they're trying to smoke with them. They're trying to drink with them. They're trying to do a lot of other things. And I believe those are the ones who are afraid more than anything. Number 17, adult neglect. Many adults are not the gatekeepers anymore.
See, back in the day, Chazz, if you went around a group of older people and you used vulgarity and you were in your teens, they would check you. In other words, they were the gatekeepers. They made sure that the morals stayed in the gate. If you were around older people and you did something that wasn't right, they're going to check you, Chazz. They're going to check you because they were the gatekeepers. Adult neglect. Many of us adults, and I keep talking about me, us, we adults, Chazz, we don't care anymore. See, because here's the new saying, I'm going to stay in my lane. This is the dumbest thing. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But yet this is what we operate under this, which is it's immoral. If I see you doing something wrong, instead of me checking you in love and saying, hey, brother, this and that, the other, even if it costs the consequences of something, what happens is this. I'm going to tell everybody, boy, that Chazz, he's a rotten scoundrel. I saw him do this. When somebody say, why you didn't talk to him? Well, I'm staying in my lane. See, this is what we do. This is what we do. Chaz, we have lost our morals, we have lost our minds, and we want you to tune in next week so we can tell you how to get them back. We tell you some practical things because I don't know if we're going to get done with these, but if we'll start off with the rest of these if we don't get done, and then we'll just spring right into another one because we've got to tell the people some positive things that they can do because most of us, we know that we are a society that has lost its morals and its minds, and I keep going back to us adults. We are not the gatekeepers anymore. We don't care.
And I just want to take a step further, like you just said real quick. The reason why a lot of people are saying that they're staying in their lanes, brother, a lot of people are afraid nowadays because all you got to do is look on the news. Anytime when you can't correct a person in love without violence being displayed, that's when you know society is going back. And I'm not agreeing with the people who say that. They're saying they're staying in their lanes because they're afraid that person that they're correcting may shoot.
But Chaz, I got to push back on that. I'm talking about if you have a nephew that's 7 years old and that nephew is using vulgarity left and right, and you're an adult and you're sitting in that room, you mean to tell me you can't say, hey, man, you know, you shouldn't be talking like that? See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about somebody out in the public you don't know and all of this. So let's not be crazy. Your nephews, your nieces, your brothers, your sisters, your uncles, your aunt, you know, you mean to tell me we can't say, you know, what you're doing is inappropriate? That's what I don't get. You see, no, I can't say anything because I'm standing in my lane. No, you tell that little 7-year-old you're not going to talk like that around me. See, I agree. Messed up, man. We just messed up.
I agree, and that's where I was trying to separate. I was talking about like the nephews and stuff who was a little bit older, but like you said, the young kids, yeah, you can't teach them. But we'll move on to the next point, number 18. The influence of pop culture, like individualism, greed, hatred, beefing, and lowering the standards. Excuse me. The influence of pop culture has done a lot to this. When you have a person who has so much money and they're still trying to gather more and more funds, that's just greed. People who are hating others, who do anything to others for more, that are trying to accumulate more money. That's nothing but hatred. Even beefing. All these things lower our standards. When you talk about a man's family, you talk about a man's mother, you talk about a man's grandparents, it's just a shame and it's a disgrace. And pop culture has did a good job at highlighting this. In fact, that's the way pop culture, I believe, is plastered all over social media and stuff now. Everything now, brother, is starting to become evil. I'm talking on these social media sites. Most of it's evil. Nobody's really friendly. Everything is violence. Everything is greed. Everybody's hating. Everybody's beefing. And this is a society will lower the standards. And now it's to a point where anything goes. I'm almost at a point now, brother, when I see some on social media, I'm not even shocked anymore. I believe I've seen just about anything, and it can't get any worse than this.
Yeah, you know, pop culture has some beautiful things that it has given to us because we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. But pop culture also has given us things that we should stay away from. But because everybody want to be Prince, everybody want to be Michael Jackson, everybody want to be Tupac. Yeah, everybody want to be Tupac. Everybody want to be Steve Harvey. Everybody want to be Kevin Hart. Everybody want to be Beyonce. Everybody want to be Sexy Red. You know, everybody want to be all these people, man. But we can't be these people. Be yourself. And so this is why we try to take those things like individual, greed, hatred, beefing. People are beefing every day. We've done some broadcasts about that.
Yeah.
We're still accepting that, man.
Number 19. Some of the young adults just won't listen. Yeah, I agree. They're always pushing back. They never want to listen. They always have something negative to say. Even if they know that they're wrong, they're always trying to show you that they have the leg up. They got the upper hand. Who are you to try to tell me anything? And you can't tell them anything until something bad happens. And then when that happens, then sometimes they're like, yeah, you right, uncle. Or, yeah, you right, brother. It's a shame. In our young adults, it's like, it's hard, brother. It's hard to get back in the day, and I could be wrong. And I'm not no old man, but I'm saying back in the day, like in 2003 and 2002, it seemed like it was a little bit easier to get through to them. Now in 2024, you can't get through to any of these guys. I don't care if they black. I don't care if they white. I don't care if they Mexican. You cannot get through to any of them. They don't listen.
Chaz, you are on a rant, and that's good because you're right. Some of these young adults just won't listen because guess what, Chaz? Mom and daddy won't listen. Mom and daddy won't listen either. Mom and daddy won't listen. So they picked up, and you're right. They should listen. And a lot of us as young adults, we listen. But a lot of us, we just won't listen. No matter what you can show them the truth in their and the way they should go. They don't want to go that way. You say go left, they're gonna go right. You can say go right, they're gonna go left. You see, you take the low road, they're gonna take the high road. You take the high road, they take the low road. And it's parenting. A lot of this is parenting because you better listen to somebody back in the day that was older than you, that was telling you the truth. You get your head decapitated if you didn't. And so
now, come on now. Come on,
this is figurative expressions to let you know that back in the day, younger people, they sit down and listened more. And some of them back then didn't listen. So we're not trying to paint a picture that all the young adults back in the day listen. But right now, you're right. You can tell they just won't listen, man. And a lot of it is parenting. I believe that with all my heart, because we as parents, uncles, aunts, and we don't even want to talk to them. So why would they listen if you don't have anything to say?
And I like this show, brother, because we do go back and forth sometimes. Here's the thing I think. I got to push back a little bit because I believe in some of the cases, the parents did teach them right from wrong. Where I think the ball was dropped. Yeah. Well, I think the ball was dropped when social media, like I said, MySpace, Twitter, Facebook, when all these social media apps started skyrocketing, that's when the kids and the teenagers or young adults start pushing back more. Because now I believe that's the way the whole society is now, to push back, don't listen, show that you're a rebel, be showing people that you can't listen. That's just what I believe where that is. Number 20, generational differences. Each generation seems to be lowering standards of living.
Yep. Each generation that goes back in the day. That's why we keep saying back in the day, and they had their issues too. Let somebody look at this and just be totally oblivious to what we're saying. We're not trying to paint a picture that back in the day, everything was perfect, but it was better back then than it is now. That's what we're saying. And you have to acknowledge that because the generation of today, a lot of us, we don't care, man. We don't care. I curse a woman that's 86 years old and she tells me, she says, Ja, you need to do this or do that. And I say, B, you don't tell me what to do. I'm my own boss. I'm my own man. And then see, instead of the brothers with me saying, man, you ought to cut that out. They like, hey, you told her. And so they give me high five. And so now I'm going to keep going. This is dumb, you see. And this happens even in families. When an auntie tells a niece something, and the auntie tells the niece the truth. And because the niece don't want to listen, she doesn't want to listen, she's going to say something. She's going to call the auntie a B because the auntie's trying to help her say, you ought to teach your own kids that. She's not talking to her own kids. She's talking to you. So each generation, we lower the standards to where anything goes now. And those who are watching this, they know we're telling the truth. They know without a shadow of a doubt that we're telling the truth, man. And that's what I'm going to say. Speaking of shadows of doubt, I'll let you say something that I'll say, plug the play that's coming up.
No, you are absolutely right, brother. It does seem like it's getting worse and worse. And I don't even want to say how it's going to look the next 20 years from now with the way the standards are. Each generation does seem like it's getting a little bit worse. And it's really nowhere. It seems like it's going to keep getting worse. But I'll let you go ahead and take we got 6 minutes to go, I guess. Because the broadcast, we started late, so we're going to finish this thing up. We only have 3 more points to go. So let's go ahead and clean this out tonight, and we'll come back next week. There's a play coming to San Antonio, Texas, September the 15th at the Joe Long Theater. It's called Shadows of Doubt, Whispers of Innocence. It's about a gentleman who's on death row, who's fighting for his life. His family's trying to help exonerate him. Everyone's trying to teach this guy what he can do to get himself in proper standards with society. He's got a family, he has kids, and it's just a lot going on. And so we want you all to support the Liberation Center, the play Shadows of Doubt, Whispers of Innocence. You can get your tickets at the Joe Long Theater box office, or you can get them at Ticketmaster, but there are going to be extra fees if you go through Ticketmaster. So we're asking you to go to the Joe Long Theater, and please check this play out. It's going to be one for the ages. It's called Shadows of Doubt, Whispers of Innocence, and Chazz and I'll give you more information as the day approaches. But tonight's subject is a society that has lost its morals and its minds. Number 21, the topics of morals are not important to us. That
Mm.
excuse me, that is obvious as day. That is so obvious. Morals have been tossed away, and I said this earlier in the broadcast. I believe when our older elders and grandmamas and granddaddies died, that's when the morals went out the way, and they're not
Come on,
important to
Chaz.
us.
Yeah,
All,
that's something.
all you got to
Say
do
that again, Chaz. Say that again.
when our elder grandmothers and grandfathers who taught us real good morals, when they passed away, I believe that's when the morals and stuff went out the toilet or
Yeah.
went down the drain.
Yeah.
Now nobody really cares about morals. Everybody is all over to screw you over and they beat you before you get them. And all you got to do is just take a look. Go to your local grocery store. Go to social media. Go to your local mall. Observe the way people are acting. These people are acting crazy. Even I'll even take it a step further, and this is just some simple morals. All you got to do is for the people who drive on the highway. Notice how people upset. I mean, driving at a crazy speed. They see you trying to put your blinker on, trying to get over, won't let you over, flipping people off, giving them the bird in
Yeah.
traffic. Brother, these morals, and I
Yeah.
cannot believe people are acting crazy now, man. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Maybe we need to do a broadcast on that. Why
We
people
do.
are
We
just
do.
acting so different now.
Yeah, we do. We do. Chaz, the topic of morals are not important to us. They're not important to us like it was back then because a lot of us got other things going on, man. We don't care about morals because we have too
Mm,
many other fire irons in the fire, I should say. You know, morals are something that old people talk about, not young people. But it should be something that all of us talk about. But morals are not taught. And what kills me, Chaz, is we lied to our ancestors, those who were on their deathbeds.
mm.
We told them we're going to do better. We lied and said we're going to get it together, and we're still not doing what we said. So we are hypocrites, and we have lied to them, Chaz. And that's crazy how we've done that.
Absolutely. Sister personifies in here. She says, "Yep, true." Number 22, our minds are gone because many of adults don't use discernment. And I want to just push back a little bit, brother. As an adult, if you don't have anything like a mental disability or you didn't get anything wrong, brother, you could look at a movie, you could look at a song, you know right from wrong. But here's the issue: we want what the movie is portraying, or what the
Yeah.
artist is portraying, or what the actor on Hollywood is portraying. We want to live those things out. So that's why we're acting and acting that way because we want to do those things. So once again, the question on the screen is good, but we have discernment, brother. We just choose not to use it because we want to act those things out
Right.
of what we're
That's what it
watching.
says. We don't use discernment because we're too busy falling in love with the actors and actresses. See, we're not looking at morality here or ethics, values. We look at these actors and actresses and we've been seeing them all of our lives. We grew up with them. And so now we've fallen in love with these people. So if they do something stupid, instead of saying that's wrong, we say, you know, Denzel, I love Denzel. So whatever he does, I'm not knocking Denzel. I'm saying that's a movie actor. So we
Right.
fall in love with Beyonce when she's on the big screen. If she can kill a million people, and we're gonna say we love her, just like Bad Boys, all these movies that's out. A lot of this stuff is whack. But because we love Martin, we love Will Smith, so we're going to applaud them. So we've lost our morals, we've lost our minds, and a lot of us know it's true, but we won't admit it. Instead of saying, I've lost my morals in my mind and I've got to get it back, we sit back, we watch soap operas, and actually think that we're those people that we're watching. Yeah, we think we're those people. You know, they're in nice homes and they're in relationships, and we in our minds we go through that as if that's us, Chaz. We have one more point after this one. So
It says
go ahead.
number 23, there's a lack of more teachings from adults. And I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but I think you know where I'm going with this, and I keep saying this. The reason why there's a lack of morals because they're not important to us, brother. When something is important to you, you're not going to talk about it. You're not even going to think twice about it. That's like when you go to the bathroom. You turn on the switch, the light. You don't think twice about it. You turn it on and keep going. Well, that's the same thing with morals. They toss the light off. They don't think twice about it. They think it's whack. They think it's lame. And a lot of us adults don't care about our morals anymore. So that's why they're not being taught.
And true that, Chaz. True that. There's a lack of moral teaching from adults because we're too busy on Snapchat. We're too busy on Facebook. We're too busy on YouTube. We're too busy on whatever the account is, used to be known as Twitter. We're too busy scrolling on our phone because our minds are so gone that we'll get up at 11:30 or make that 1 o'clock in the morning because we can't sleep. And instead of us sitting there grabbing a book or contemplating or learning the Medu Neter or learning the Bible or learning the Quran, learning what we want to teach, what we were supposed to be teaching, we're going to grab the cell phone and just start scrolling. Yeah. This is a sick individual, Chazz. This is a woman or a man who has lost their mind because this is something that they take to the bathroom with them. This is something that they do in the bed before they go to sleep. This is something they do when they first wake up, looking for people to watch their broad podcasts because the podcasts are whack, but they like the people, so they watch them. These people have lost. We have lost everything, Chazz. We got one more point to do, and we're at 1 hour and 1 minute, so we're just fine because we started late. So for those who are in here, it's like going into overtime. You should be excited. We're going into overtime.
Number 24. Some of us adults have given up teaching our true morals and values.
Giving up. We just threw our hands up.
Yeah, I think, like you said, and some of us, and this is no knock, I believe some of us are defeated, brother. It's just so much.
Oh, Chazz, come on, man.
We are. We look at the news. We look at the economy. We look at the way the dollar is constantly getting deflated. There's so much coming at us, and we kind of look at it now. It's like, okay, I have nothing else to fight for. Some of the hopes and dreams that I had have been crushed. It's been really now in the toilet. So now, since I have nothing to look forward to, now my morals are out the window, and now I don't value anything.
Yes, that was profound. That was real profound because as I look at this, I want to cry, but I'm laughing, but I want to cry because it says some of us adults, we've given up, Chazz. You're saying we've given up, and then when it hit me when you were saying that, it's true. We've given up on morals. Those are the things that keep us going. But we've given up on those things. And so we picked up other things. And those other things that we picked up, they're harming us. We've picked up a lot of salt in our bodies. We've picked up a lot of eating red meat. We've picked up a lot of sweets. We've picked up a lot of dope. We've picked up a lot of beer. We've picked up a lot of wine. We've picked up a lot of vulgarity. We've picked up a lot of backbiting. We picked up so much, Chazz, and so now this thing called morality is nothing to us, you're saying, and the values mean nothing to us. So we just basically have thrown our hands up and said, I'm going to live this way until I leave this earth, like it or not, and this is how I'm going to end up. And that's tragic.
And I'll just say one more thing real quick, too. A lot of the reasons why morals and values I think are down the drain is because, brother, think about it. Morals and values aren't really rewarded. Like, you can't get cash, or you don't really get any street credit or anything like that. So I think that's another reason why people aren't taking morals and values seriously, because people want something out. Like, it's like a job. When you work, you want to get paid. Well, that's the same thing with morals and values. They feel like since you can't get compensated for it, you don't get a raise, you don't get anything that's better, they just stop doing it because they feel like it's no value to them.
Yeah.
Sister Mashana Fires in here. She says we have to get back to the basics.
Yeah, yep. We do. And that's so profound because next week we're going to go back to the basics. I know those people that says, when are you going to do the thing on lying, adult lying? That's coming up, but let's finish this first. But we're going to go back to the basics, Chazz, and let's talk about some basic morals, the good ones, and we're going to identify them and try to put those back into our lives because that's missing. So those who are watching this, please tell a friend. Tune into Adults Only every Wednesday because Chazz and myself, you see, we get so passionate about these subjects, and we're not asking you for anything. We just want you to come back to yourself as I come back to myself, because we live in a society that has lost its morals and its mind. And Chazz, I'm going to ask you this because this is not on our screen. This is not a note, but I've been wanting to ask you this. Why don't people in relationships, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, friends, why is this not a subject if it's this bad, Chazz? Why is this subject not coming up a lot?
I believe that we know that it's bad, and we just choose to put our head in the sand and just hope that it gets better over time. Like, we feel like it's so bad to the point now where maybe we feel like the next generation or maybe a couple years down the line that it'll get better. And then there's another group of people who just say, you know what? It's to a point now where we can't correct it, so I might as well not even bring it up. And matter of fact, I think that's where most people are at. It's to a point now where it's so bad, people are saying, "Why even bring this up?" It's
Oh,
just
that's
out of
heavy.
control.
That's
It's that
heavy,
bad,
man.
brother.
That's heavy because when a society gives up its morals and values, you get the society that we live in today because we've given it up, and that's why your mic.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Go
yeah.
for it.
We're living in a society now that has given up and lost its morals and values, and that's why it's so bad because we don't care about them. We don't like to
Mm.
talk about them. We don't like to challenge people with them, and we don't want to be seen as the person who knows it all. But yet, at some point in time in our lives, Chaz, as the sister said, we got to get back to the basics, man. We've got to get back to the basics because that's where it's at. So if you're watching this broadcast, please come back next week. And our subject is going to be a society that has lost its morals and minds, but we're going to change it to how we can get them back. And we're going to give you practical truths because you know us on Adults Only. We always identify the issue, but we're always applying this. Because see, if people don't like that, Chaz, they like the mess, like we talked about it tonight. They like the mess because they're messy. See, they don't want to say how do we solve this. See, they don't want to teach the kids. They'll talk about the kids. Oh, these kids nowadays ain't no good. These kids nowadays, blah blah blah. What are you doing to help kids today? What am I doing to help these kids today? That's the question. And the next person tell me that, I'm gonna challenge them. The next adult that be blaming these kids because they're kids, I'm gonna ask them, what are you doing to help them? And quit complaining about them. You don't want him, you don't even want them in your house. You don't even want them around you, but yet you complaining about them. So Chaz, we got a lot of work to do, man. But you say we're gone. There's always hope. So maybe next week somebody can come in and they'll put comments saying, I'm going back to those principles because no matter what you believe, right is right, Chaz. Right is right. And we should know how to treat people. So again, we're not playing our little music. We're just talking to you and we're going to get out of here. But Chaz, I think this was really a great subject matter. And I thank you for bringing all that insight because I think we have to, as men, we have to begin to talk about those things that's uncomfortable. A lot of people want to talk about sports. They want to talk about religion. They want to talk about all these other things, but they don't want to talk about how our society, man, has gone down the drain. And so this is why we need to talk like this. Sister Mashonda says, Shimotep brothers. We say back to her, Shimotep. That's again, those who don't know those words, that's in spirituality. That means she wants us to leave with a unspeakable peace. It's a certain peace she wants us to go in. And so that's like saying we want you to leave in peace, but it's a certain kind of peace. And one day we can get into all of that. But it's just that's why you see that a lot. People say Shemhotep and Hotep. The word means peace in the Medu Neter, but it also carries a lot of connotations. But Chaz, it's been a pleasure, man. I'm gonna give you the last words because we were having technical difficulties and I don't know what's going on, but hopefully next week at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock Eastern. Please tune into Adults Only. As you can see, we don't care about what people think about what we say. We care about those people who are willing to say, I want to make a change because I know I'm not living right. And this is what this broadcast is about. And a lot of you don't have churches. A lot of you don't go to mosques. A lot of you don't have spiritual temples you go to. Maybe this Adults Only Chaz, maybe this is their church. Maybe this is their spiritual temple. Maybe, I don't know, maybe this is their mosque. But if it is, we thank you for tuning in. And having said that, I'm going to let Chaz take us on our way without the music. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. And adults, this is my last word to you, I promise. This word I want to say to you is stop acting like kids and be adults and start teaching the morals, practicing the morals so that our kids can look up to us. And when they get older, they can say, I'm doing just what I saw my relative do, as opposed to the things we're doing now, because they're repeating what they've seen us do. And it's not pretty. Take us away, Chaz.
I appreciate you for having me on, brother. It was a good show. But tonight's broadcast was very, very serious. It's about morals and the values, how society I once grew up in used to have some kind of hope with morals and values, and now, brother, they've been thrown in the absolute garbage can. Nobody cares about nobody anymore. Everybody's stepping over everybody, get to the top. Everybody's pretty much out to do you in so they can get a higher position. It is a terrible state that we're in society. We don't want to be role models anymore. And there is hope. And even if it's one person, I would say if it's one person who's struggling to do the right thing, do the right thing anyway. It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what people think. They're going to talk regardless. And for the young ones, we have to be a role model for them. You see, our young kids are already corrupt. Don't you want the next wave? And I know that one person can't change it, but don't you want someone that the young kids can look up to that has some kind of hope? We don't want our young kids and young girls incarcerated because at the rate that we're going, when they get older, they're going to get locked up because this is all they're seeing: dope, violence, gang banging. This is all that they know. And that's all I had for tonight. It's been a good show to do with you as always. And I look forward to having a show with you next week at 6 o'clock.